Forrester report for Rapid7, number juggling, and an excellent overview of vulnerability management problems. I recently read Forrester's 20-page report, The Total Economic Impact of Rapid7 InsightVM. It's about the cost savings and business benefits that vulnerability management solution can bring to the organizations. In short, I didn't like everything related to money. It seems like juggling with numbers, useless and boring. But I really like the quotes from customers who criticized existing vulnerability management solutions, especially the low quality of the remediation data. These are the real pain points of vulnerability management process. So how did Forrester count money? Forrester interviewed 5 existing customers of Rapid7 and created a composite organization. This composite organization has 12,000 IT assets and spends $223,000 per year on Rapid7 InsightVM, including integrations and training costs. Well, that means $18 per host, quite a lot, especially when compared to unlimited Nessus Professional for just about $2,400 per year, a wonderland of enterprise vulnerability management. All the cost savings and business benefits are based on the assumption that this hypothetical composite organization already had a vulnerability management process for some time, and they spent a lot of money and effort on working with vulnerabilities. But when they switched to the new shiny vulnerability management solution by Rapid7, they saved money on the salaries of security and IT specialists, and there were no major incidents and no need to investigate them. So they received $3 million as cost savings and business benefits, $1 million per year. Of course, in real life, most organizations do not have active vulnerability management process, and for them such a purchase won't bring any business benefit at all. It will be just new additional costs for vulnerability solution itself and for the endless patching process. If the organization doesn't have an understanding of how these vulnerabilities will be exploited by the attackers, if the organization was never hacked or was hacked a long time ago, it will be difficult to justify these additional costs. So that's why I don't like everything related to money in this report, but I like the other part. Criticism of existing vulnerability management solutions. I really liked quotes from real customers about vulnerability management solutions and related problems. Of course, it was presented as if all these problems were magically resolved by Rapid7 InsightVM. But any vulnerability management vendor can be promoted this way. So what are the problems? Number 1. Problems with host scanning. Network scanning is the most inconvenient way of collecting host data. The hosts may be switched off or may be out of the network. Quote, "We had machines on the network for extended period of time, so a quick scan wouldn't work. We needed an agent that would report back as soon as the machine hit our network." Another quote, "Off-network devices are not always accounted for, nor are they regularly scanned with existing systems." Vulnerability scanner may skip the hosts. For example, when hosts do not respond to ping requests or respond slowly to port scans. Quote, "The existing solution missed a number of nodes and endpoints on scheduled scans. Manual scans were often required." Number 2. Problems with vulnerability detection methods. I really like to scan the same host with multiple vulnerability scanners, compare the results and ask the vulnerability management vendor about the differences. And naturally, I'm not the only one. Quote, "Some vulnerabilities were missed when doing head-to-head tests. A classic problem of credential scans with root administrator access. They can potentially break the hosts, and no one wants to be responsible for this." Quote, "Deep-level credential access was a non-starter, as it would present a new risk to the organization." Number 3. Problems with prioritization of detected vulnerabilities. Okay, we got the scan results, but what's next? It seems silly to patch everything or patch only vulnerabilities with high CVSS. Quote, "CVSS scoring system is a broad guideline that does not always lead security professionals to the vulnerability that needs addressing most urgently. It's important to understand how these particular vulnerabilities can be exploited on these particular hosts and why these hosts are important." Quote, "Assets like customer records are always important to protect, but carry different significance between organizations such as healthcare and professional services. Number 4. Problems with vulnerability remediation. And I really like that emphasis was placed on that. The problem is that remediation process is not only manual, but also requires some research. Quote, the question was not whether the organization wanted to remediate the vulnerabilities, but rather a matter of people resources to analyze and tackle the problems. What does the client want? Quote, an actionable advice. And what does the client get? Quote, the other problem with the competitor was the remediation instructions not being specific. They, quote, describe the resolution broadly and send us to articles on the vulnerabilities. And these articles may contain detailed instructions or not. The solution, quote, needed a lot of massaging of the data and essentially made for a very manual remediation process. And it's important to understand that the reason is not always clear. Just to remove some bug that has never been exploited in the wild? And even if there is some information that vulnerability is exploitable, how reliable this information is? Of course, it would be great to see the automated patching, at least through integration with the systems like SCCM or BigFix. But who will be responsible if or when this system will break something important? Who will conduct testing after each and every update? But at a minimum, it would be great to see some features to make, quote, many of the repetitive tasks, such as information collection, requests to system administrators, and validation of patching, were reduced or consolidated. Number 5. Problems with reporting. Since I prepare most of the reports and dashboards using my own scripts, I don't quite understand when VM customers spend a lot of time discussing integrated dashboards, but I agree that easily deciphered dashboarding is important. In conclusion, despite the fact that I don't like the part about money, this report is much more interesting than most of marketing reports on vulnerability management, and I can recommend you to read it. Thank you for your time, please subscribe and leave your comments.